Hey agents, I am here today to bring back system corruption in Year 7, Season 2 of the Division 2. Honestly, this gear set has been kicked to the curb by the devs. I don't see anybody running it these days, and I'm sure that's been the case since its arch rival, the Instant Medkit, was reintroduced to the Division. Oh my gosh, how system corruption hates this new feature in the Division 2. Don't get me wrong, I think it was a great addition to the game, allowing agents to get a quick fix in times of need and stay in the fight when their teammates really need them. But this was a huge indirect nerf to system corruption for two reasons. First, well, with system corruption, I'm dedicating 4 gear pieces, sacrificing 4 minor attributes, and 3 brand set bonuses to get a literal instant medkit. And the kicker? Because the instant medkit is a quick double tap, they had to change hack step protocol from a single tap to a short press and hold, meaning it is no longer even an instant ability. And since we're here, I guess I'll make my plea to the devs as the self-proclaimed king of system corruption. Please, for all that is holy, remove the instant medkit from system corruption. There will never, not in a million games, be a time when an agent would prefer an instant medkit over hack step protocol. We don't need it. We don't want it. Remove it. If I double tap by accident my hack step protocol, basically my entire build goes on cooldown. Okay, so my vent concluded. Let's get on to the build. But first, just a little background about me in case you're new to the channel. I am a conflict player and I am system corruption reliant. I love the playstyle of this gear set and have used it in over 10,000 matches of conflict. I am system corruption. System corruption is me. And despite the nerfs, I am making it work. Why? Because this is one of the few sets in the Division 2 that offers a unique playstyle, and trust me, it's so fun to use. And I want to make sure other agents are having just as much fun as me. So in this video, I'm going to go over my updated system corruption headshot build in great detail. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is far from an easy build to farm. And that's primarily because of the scarcity of system corruption gear. I cannot wrap my head around the reason why the devs made this gear set so difficult to find. It is a PvP exclusive gear set, meaning you can basically only farm it in PvP and probably should only be using it in PvP too. So how exactly can you get it? Conflict caches, the DZ, and legacy season caches, which you can purchase during global events and are far and away your best bet at farming it. Now, if you had system corruption pieces and broke them down in the past, don't worry, because you'll be able to craft them at the crafting table. Of course, you'll need 3 system corruption data core per piece. Alright, so now we know how to obtain system corruption. What exactly does it do? Well, from the 2-piece bonus, we get 15% armor on kill. I wish this was closer to 25%, but it is what it is. The 3-piece bonus gives us 40% disrupt resistance and 40% pulse resistance. Many fortnights ago, this was a useless talent. But since the addition of the 10% pulse resistance mod, it's actually an extremely powerful bonus. all agents have a native 50% pulse resistance from their specialization, regardless of which one they use. So with a 10% pulse resistance mod, you are now completely undetectable from all pulses. Also, Flatline, Spotter, Heartbreaker, none of these will work against you. So not only can you move around the map in stealth mode, but you completely negate the bonuses from certain builds. And then the 4-piece, Hackstep Protocol. I've already touched on this. You no longer have a regular medkit. Instead, it is replaced with an infinite use ability that gives you 50% bonus armor on a 20-second cooldown. The bonus armor lasts for 5 seconds, and during that 5 seconds, your nameplate and armor bar are also hidden, similar to if you're using a decoy. This way, enemies don't know how much armor you have left, giving them a sense of insecurity when fighting you. And finally, System Corruption has a unique interaction with bonus armor, or the blue armor. For every 5% bonus armor you have, you get 2% total weapon damage. And it doesn't matter if this bonus armor is coming from Hackstep Protocol, the Memento Backpack, or a teammate's tardigrade. Any and all bonus armor gives you weapon damage. So, when you pop that Hackstep Protocol, not only are you temporarily becoming the tankiest agent on the battlefield, but you're also getting a significant damage boost. Especially if you equip the backpack, which doubles the amount of bonus armor. Alright, so that's the lowdown on System Corruption. Let's get to the other 2 gear pieces for our build. As we will be using the System Corruption backpack to basically become God mode for 5 seconds, we'll need a chest piece and gloves. Now, as this build is a headshot build, we'll be putting headshot damage on all our System Corruption pieces. For the chest piece, you've got 2 choices. My preferred piece is the exotic Provocator. In PvP, this guy gives you 20% damage resistance from all targets within 15 meters. With this build, you don't want to fight anyone outside of 15 or 20 meters, and you don't want to be in line of sight of enemies outside that range because they're probably running high damage builds. The trick to getting value from the Provocator is knowing the maps and knowing how to get close to your enemies without them being able to get too much damage on you beforehand. Obviously, being able to move around the map like a stealth bomber helps with this. So when fighting within the 15 meters and you pop your Hackstep Protocol, you're basically getting 4.5 million armor. You are insanely tanky, making it extremely hard for just one enemy to burn through all your armor. You are making a sacrifice though, as the minor attributes on Provocator are hazard protection and armor regen, neither of which you'll get much value from with this build. If you don't have the Provocator or you just don't like the idea of it, you can go with Unbreakable on a Hadsburg, Fenris, or Providence chest piece. Your minor attributes go with headshot damage and weapon handling. I don't really like Unbreakable on this build because we already have so much armor, and I feel while Unbreakable and Hackstep are on cooldown, our build is basically out of order for 20 seconds. For our final gear piece, I like to use the named Zoo gloves, Eagle's Grasp. Because we don't really have space to put handling on this build, I feel a lot better with the 15% you get from this one piece. Let's take a look at the difference in recoil with and without Eagle's Grasp. It's a pretty significant reduction, and also keep in mind we're getting an additional 7 rounds from our one piece of Zoo. If you're still having trouble with the Bighorn's recoil, feel free to throw more handling on the build, because it doesn't matter if you have 10% or 500% headshot damage, missed shots are doing 0 damage. So, to get the exotic Provocator, you need to complete the Year 6 Season 2 Climax mission. It's a guaranteed drop on Master difficulty, but it will drop from bosses on any difficulty. The Eagle's Grasp gloves are in the general loot pool, so set target loot to Zoo and do a few runs of Countdown. They should pop up before long. So that's the gear, let's move on to the weapon. I mentioned it's a headshot build, so you've really got only one choice. and that's the Bighorn. No other AR can come close to the damage output of a Bighorn. Why is that? Because it's talent, big game hunter. Build stacks by hitting headshots. One stack equals 6% headshot damage. Max stacks is 25 for 150% headshot damage. Add the 40% headshot damage you're getting from the scope, and now you have yourself the only assault rifle that should ever be used for a headshot build. Now, when you reach 25 stacks, they start to decay every 4 seconds, unless you continue to hit headshots, which resets that 4-second timer. So usually you'll be able to maintain full stacks throughout long drawn out fights. The Bighorn's weakness? It's recoil. And that's why I love Eagle's Grasp gloves and the Sharpshooter Specialization, as they give you a total of 30% recoil control. Your secondary weapon can be whatever you like. Swapping off the Bighorn causes you to lose all your stacks, so I never do. For skills, you need the booster hive, as you can't just put on a med kit whenever you want. So if you get hit with status effects and you've already used hack step, you're in deep doo-doo without a booster hive. The second skill is up to you. A scanner pulse is always great, even with the super long cooldown in conflict, but the tactician drone, jammer pulse, or decoy are also nice to have depending on the situation. As I mentioned, I use the Sharpshooter Specialization for the recoil control, flashbangs, and bonus armor you get from sticking to cover. There are a ton of Pestilence users right now, and you can spam in and out of cover to negate the tick damage while afflicted. Other than that, we just have the playstyle. Obviously, you want to be up and close with your enemies and aiming for the head. No brainer. But how about using Hackstep Protocol? Using it too early, when the enemy isn't even focusing you yet, will be a waste. Wait too long, and well, you can't use it while you're down. The optimal time to pop it really depends on who you're gonna fight. You know you're coming up on a 6 red Umbra build, you probably want to use Hackstep even before initiating, because that half second you need to take mid-fight to activate it can get you killed. And yeah, you basically can't be doing anything when popping Hackstep, so be careful. If you're foamed, vaulting, climbing, shooting, you can't use Hackstep while doing any of these things, and it'll cancel your reload. So back to your enemies. If you're fighting another tanky guy, go ahead and let him take out some of your armor before using Hackstep, because on top of the bonus armor it gives, it also repairs 20% of your base armor. So if you use it at full HP, you're going to be losing out on the repairs. But yeah, the more you play system, the better you'll get at timing your Hackstep. Also, one more thing. If you're on console and using a basic controller, you're going to have a really hard time using system corruption. Reaching over to the D-pad to activate it is super cumbersome. So if you really like this build, I highly recommend getting a controller with paddles or one that you can remap the buttons on. I got this GameSir controller that allows me to remap the buttons, so I have my right bumper set to my medkit button. It's easy and quick to press, and I can't shoot while popping Hackstep anyways, so I feel that that's the best spot for it. But different strokes for different folks. Now, you know, I was planning to introduce both of my system builds in this video, but it's gone on way too long, so I'll get to my system corruption crit build in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for lots more Division content. That's all for me, agents. Grind hard, enjoy harder.